Perfect.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sahar and you're welcome to Rethink with Sahar. This is a platform where we explore new ideas, new things, and try to bring about a change in ourselves or in the world around us. So today we have with us Dornik, who is the Jeff Dornik, who is the founder and CEO of Pickaxe. I'm sorry, CEO of Pickaxe. Pickaxe is a new platform, social media platform, where uh, the algorithms do not interfere with your activity to the extent that they change your viewership or what you want to view. So that's a really interesting thing. So you're welcome, Jeff. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me on. I'm doing great. It's dark and early out here in Southern California, but yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Oh wow, that's nice. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful bright out here, and definitely there was a time gap, and yeah, it should be dark over there. So Jeff, what is pickaxe?
Yeah, so it's a social media platform that we've recently launched. We're currently technically in our beta launch, but it's open to anybody and everybody to join right now. But the whole idea behind it was it started off as just okay, let's have a free speech platform to where people can get on there, they can state their opinions. We'll foster debate and discussion and all of that. But then as time was going on and I saw Elon Musk buy X and I'm seeing a lot of changes in a lot of the terms and conditions and rules that are on a lot of the different social media platforms, I realized the people that are really getting hurt a lot are content creators. And so I've been leaning heavily into making Pickaxe a true home for content creators. So everything that we do, everything that we build is going to be to how can we help them to monetize? How can we help them to have more access to their audience without interference from the platform? And one of the really interesting things that I noticed is I have a lot of friends that are on Instagram, obviously, and a lot of
Mhm.
influencers that have lots of followers. And I was talking to one of them that had about 800,000 followers on Instagram,
Oh,
and
wow.
she was saying that, before 2019, she was able to get sponsorship deals with brands and promote products and generate a revenue. She had like a full time income coming from just her
Mhm.
Instagram account. And then all of a sudden the algorithms changed. And she doesn't talk about anything controversial. It's all food and health and like all that kind of stuff. And she said like since then, and they changed the algorithms, she's like all of my engagement has gone down, my access to my audience has gone down, I can't get the same kind of sponsorship deals that I
Wow.
used to get. And I was like, well, why do you think that's happening? And she said, well, it's because the algorithms have changed to where they amplify what they call quote unquote credible sources, so people that you see on TV, the mainstream media, the news, things like that. So then the up and coming influencers or creators or things like that get pushed off to the wayside. And then I start diving into the algorithms. How does it work and all that? And I realized that on Instagram, unless you're one of these quote unquote credible sources, they only let about a maximum of 3% of your actual audience that's following you to see any one of your posts unless you pay to promote your post to your own audience that you've already earned. It makes no logical sense. And I realized these platforms, they're pushing certain particular accounts over others, but then they're also messing with your ability to get seen and your ability to get seen by your own followers, which to me does not seem fair at all whatsoever. So
Wow.
everything that we're doing with
Mhm.
Pickaxe is how can we give these creators more access to their audience, and how can we give the audience more access to the creators, and then help them to be able to, when you think about it, build a legitimate business that's reliable, consistent, and we're not messing with them or screwing with them at all.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. It suddenly happens. So happens. Actually, I myself, when during this election also, like I'm just giving you an example, not talking about commenting on the
Yep.
elections as such. So it's just like if I'm following one candidate, for example, I'll just say A or B. Candidate A. If I'm following him, I saw a video or a post by that candidate, then I'm going to see all the negative this thing promotions about the other candidate. So I'm not going to see anything good about the other one. So this is something that is what at the level of an audience, as a viewer, I feel like being cheated. So similarly, I'm sure the lady whom you talked to about, you were talking about, she had 8,000 followers on Instagram, and then she is not able to reach her own followers. So that's something uh, really not good. Something I would like to use the word bad, but I would say it's not good.
Yeah.
So we are robbed of our free will, free speech, which is so important that we continue with for our own development and the development of the country and the world as such. So, what do you think it's gonna pickaxe is, as you said, is going to give this platform for free speech, and it's not going to interfere with the with algorithms. And so, what else? Like social media usually is related to this thing. Entertainment, a sort of entertainment. So what else we will have there? Will we have small things like one-liners, one photographs, or there will be articles, or we can express our views. How long will be the posts and all?
Yeah, yeah. Basically, we have it set up to where you've got your primary news feed, which is very similar to what you'd see on Twitter, Facebook, things like that. You can post your quick
Mm-hmm.
hits, your ideas, share articles, and this is one of the other interesting things too that I noticed as well on the news feed front is that if you look at X and Facebook and a lot of these other platforms, if you post the link to a YouTube video or a Rumble video or your Apple podcast or even an outbound link out anywhere, you get demoted in the algorithms, and because they want you using their product, so they want you using their video platform, or keeping everything within their ecosystem, because they make money on ad revenue when the longer you stay on their platform. So they devalue outbound links, which makes it very difficult for content creators that maybe they can't monetize on the platform, or they've been censored or something like that, because now you can't make money on the platform, you can't make money off the platform, and you're kind of screwed either way. So one of the things that we did specifically with Pickaxe is we made it to where if you post a YouTube video or a Rumble video or an Apple podcast or Spotify audio player,
Mm-hmm.
it's playable in the newsfeed as if it's native to the platform. So then that way you're just
Okay.
scrolling through and you can just watch the YouTube video right there on the platform as if you had just posted it directly right there on Pickaxe. So that way
Okay.
it'll help you as a creator to get more views and get bumped up on those platforms like YouTube and Rumble and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So from that standpoint, you've got your primary news feed. You can post those videos, you can post the audio, you can post pictures, write your text, all that kind of stuff. Share articles. You'll never be demoted in the algorithms by posting an outbound link and all of that. But then you also have the ability to write articles directly on the platform. And one of the benefits of this is that the articles are fully integrated into the platform, makes it very easy for reading and all of that. But then as a content creator, you have two options. You can either put it behind a paywall if you'd like, so that way people have to become a monthly subscriber to see your articles there. The
Yeah.
other aspect is if you have it as a public article, the ads that we post on your ad, we will have a revenue share to where you can earn revenue from people reading your article there. So then
Okay.
that way, what we're doing is we're incentivizing you to, instead of demoting you in the algorithms, we're incentivizing you in a positive fashion with a revenue
Beautiful.
share model in order to earn revenue from that standpoint. So everything that we're doing we're going to be adding more features, more things like that will expand the features offering. But everything we do is,
Mhm.
is with the creator in mind. How can we give the creator more access, and how can we solve a problem that people are experiencing on other platforms? And so everything that we do is looking at it through those lenses.
Okay, that's great. That's really like some of the very beneficial and very exciting things that will be seen on Pickaxe. And talking about free speech, not free
Yeah.
will, free speech. And so, what do you think in the modern political scenario in the country and around the world? So, where do we And yes, of course, coming of the AI and these algorithms that we are talking about. So where does a human being stand in all of this?
Yeah, I
What do
mean,
you think?
it's a very strange world that I feel like we're heading into right now, because if you look at Meta, you look at X, you look at all the, Google, they're all developing their own artificial intelligence. And the really interesting thing too is that they're using our data and our opinions and our ideas in order to fuel their artificial intelligence. So everybody
Yes.
always asks me what I think. What do you think about Elon Musk buying X and becoming a quote unquote free speech platform? And I'm like, well, realistically, he didn't get a $44 billion loan in order to defend free speech. He got a $44 billion loan because he was going to use all the data to funnel his artificial intelligence, make it the most relevant, up to date AI on the planet, because he's taking all of our information in real time, putting it into XAI, and then now it's able to respond in real time to current events, news, all that kind of stuff. So when you think about that, everybody's using ChatGPT and Grok and all these different AIs in order to write their articles or make graphics or make videos. Or there's going to be no more human creativity. There's going to be no more human thought, no more
Yeah.
human expression. So one of the things
Hmm.
that we're doing specifically is that we'll use AI in certain things more on the back end, on whether it's security or whether it's helping us with coding or different things like that. But on the front end, especially when it comes to human creativity, I want to hear what you think. I don't want to hear what a robot thinks. And
Yeah.
so we're not having plugins with AI, how you can pull in like you can Grok on X or different things like that. I want to hear what you think. So you express yourself and become a better writer, become a better creator. And so I think if we can foster that, you can go to all these other platforms and you can hear what a robot thinks all day long. But if you come to
Okay.
Pickaxe, you're going to hear what real people think. You're going to hear real opinions.
Beautiful.
And so
Hmm.
everything that we're going to do, we're going to make it to where we can kind of have these kinds of conversations. Like you said earlier, when you looked at one particular, political candidate, you only saw negativity or you only saw positivity based
Yes.
upon the way the algorithms perceive your perception to be. Whereas what I
Definitely.
want to do is one of my ideas that I'm going to do is make it to where if you have an article, somebody else could reply to that article with another article. So that way you get to the end of that one, you can see, oh, well, this person had this different nuanced opinion compared to that one. And you can kind of
Hmm.
follow that train of thought. And we can actually put differing opinions next to each other to where you can read both sides and come up with your own conclusions. I feel like that's a lot better than more the propaganda style algorithms that only push one particular narrative over the other. Yeah, it's just a weird scenario that I feel like we're heading into right now.
That's right. And the way the critical thinking we value so much, it's being affected by it. And that's like, even as a teacher, I would tell my students, like, okay, you use AI, that's all right, but do it in a way that you can learn, not follow. Do not follow, right? So following AI is not. I don't know what the future holds for us with AI, but there is a big debate going on that it will be good, some say it will be bad, some say it will ruin the planet. And so, what is your thought about that?
It was interesting. There's back in I think it was last year. There was a conversation that Elon Musk had with Benjamin Netanyahu, and it was right before all the craziness that happened in Israel and Hamas and all that kind of stuff. It was like maybe like a couple weeks
Mhm.
before. They had like this AI summit, and they're
Okay.
sitting down and talking. And Netanyahu asked Elon Musk, "What do you think about the future of artificial intelligence?" And he's like, "Well, it can go one of two ways. We could either see Terminator come into fruition, where the robots take
Mhm.
over the world and we're basically subservients to them and all that kind of stuff, or we can have a utopia." And Netanyahu's like, "Well, what do you mean by utopia?" It literally,
Oh,
Elon Musk said, "Heaven on earth. We could have heaven on earth here with AI." And Benjamin Netanyahu's like, "Well, what are you talking about? Like, what does that look like?" And he basically said, "Well, that looks like a world where basically you don't have to work, you have access to everything, you leisure, like all this kind of stuff." And I'm like, it's basically did you see the Disney movie Wall-E that came out several years ago, where they're all sitting on their little chairs and watching their screens, and they're exerting no energy. And that's how I feel like the future. It's like you have one option or the other. And I'm like, there's got to be somewhere in the middle where we can actually use technology to our benefit. But we
Yes.
still need purpose. We still need creativity. We still need to be human beings. And being human beings does not just mean sitting around as blobs of flesh being all consuming.
Yes.
It means we need to actually think through problems and solve problems and do hard work and get in there and actually do something and accomplish something. And I think
Mhm.
that that's one of the dangers that we're facing with this new AI front, is that
Mhm.
it's taking away what defines us as human beings. And then if you want to take it to the next level, one of my other concerns that I have with AI is this transhumanist worldview that we're seeing with guys like Elon and Mark Zuckerberg and all these other AI leaders, where they want to blend together the technology with human biology, and I find that really concerning.
Yes.
Elon has said that they have that his Neuralink, which it can do some amazing things when it comes to quadriplegics, it comes to epilepsy, it comes to all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that he said that it has the capability of doing is you can implant this chip into your brain, and then it can replace memories and replace them with new ones. That's
Wow.
concerning, because now all of a
Very.
sudden, if you're able to connect to the internet, which is what it would do, it would have access to artificial intelligence and all of that. Anything that's connected to the internet is hackable. So now all of a sudden,
Exactly.
who are you giving access to replace your memories with new ones? Because when you think about it, you would never know, because your memories are replaced.
It's a
That
place.
is
It's gone.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
extremely dangerous. And so from that standpoint, I don't know if there's anything we can do to stop it, except to just say I'm not going to participate in that. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really know the answer on that one.
And Will, do you think, uh, like this, as they say, if you sit with your back towards the sun is going to rise anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So our participation in it, how many things we influence not to participate in it, and how can we stop a new dawn, whether it brings something good or something to the opposite? So, what do you think is it, and what do you and you hinted at the essence of being a human. So, what is it, according
Yeah.
to you?
Yeah. What is being human?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's the ability to have rational thought and think through things and have purpose. But then also, also too, it's like, as a Christian, for me, as a Christian, it's like, I have my faith. I follow after Christ. I follow after God, and there's this
Mhm.
moral code that you follow that's in the Bible, and and by doing that, you're finding purpose there as well. It's following after somebody that's greater than yourself, and becoming a better person and constantly striving, and then you struggle, and then you succeed and you overcome. Like, all of that is a part of being a human being, and I feel like
Mhm.
what we're seeing with the AI stuff is it's taking away the need to struggle. And that's a really bad thing for humanity. Like, I grew
Exactly.
up playing sports, so I played basketball very competitively. I used to play in tournaments with all the guys that are in the NBA. I know some of the guys that are in the NBA, which is weird, because now that I'm 38, all of my friends that are playing in the NBA are now retiring, which is kind of weird. But it's interesting, because I learned a lot playing basketball, because you would struggle, and then you would figure out, how do I better myself? How do I overcome that weakness? And that took practice. Like, so for me personally, I became a very good 3-point shooter, and I ended up being basically practically the best 3-point shooter in the state of Arizona when I played there.
Mhm.
But I literally, every single day, I would shoot 1,000 shots every single day, and that would take me about an hour, maybe a little bit longer to do. But that was the thing. On top of working out, on top of practicing, it was a struggle. I would get injuries, and you have to overcome the injuries. You have to play
Yes.
through it, work through it, go to physical therapy, build up your strength. Like, there's something that that comes with hard work and overcoming, that I think AI is robbing humanity of, because now you're never having to self-reflect and look at yourself and say, what are my weaknesses? What do I have to work on? What do I have to do to become a better person? And what do I have to do to succeed? Because you just type it into chat gpt, and it's like, oh, well, here's the answer, here's how you do it. It's like, but where's the struggle? Because
Yes, where is the struggle?
through the struggle is how you become a better person. So I always say, we're going to have the dumbest group of smart people in the world because of AI, because people don't actually know things. they're just getting the answers already. It's like a cheat sheet constantly. You're not actually
Exactly.
learning anything, but you have access to all the information in the world. That's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion, when it comes to humanity.
You're right. You're right. Being a human is like Albert Camus says, when Sisyphus rolls the boulder up the hill and then sees it falling down again. So the smile that comes to his face of his realizing his predicament and realizing that this is what he has to do, endless labor, even though it doesn't take us anywhere, but it takes us as a humanity step by step ahead. So that struggle, that in contemplation, self-contemplation, that I think is essence of what we are. Uh, Other species, they cannot think like us. They cannot speak like us. They cannot be uh, uh, thinking about themselves. They just don't know. For them, they are what the other thing is. It's just an object. You just know they have to eat, and that's all. You
Yeah.
know. So, but having introspection, self introspection, that's what makes us apart. And with AI, it's that thing that we think, the 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 fact that we think, that's gonna change a little bit. In fact, a lot, right?
Yeah.
So we will not be. We will not be. Uh, oh yes, I remember one thing. I read it somewhere on some platform, social media platform. They said, I wanted AI to do the household chores for me so that I could relax and do the creative work. But what is happening now is the opposite.
Yeah.
AI is doing the creative work for me so that I can do the household chores.
Yeah.
So, so that's a uh, totally different viewpoint. And
Well,
so,
I think on that point too, there's something interesting because with my kiddo, who's 2, and it's interesting because everybody says, he's super advanced for his age, right?
uh,
He knows where all the states are. He can name them all. He knows all of his numbers. He has really good conversations with people and all that. And everybody's like, how is this 2.5-year-old so advanced? And I realized he doesn't watch television. And then I started thinking the other day. I started thinking, I'm like, but what does not watching television actually do? Well, when you sit and you watch TV, there's been a handful of times that we've let him watch TV. If he's sick or things like that, we're just like, you got to stay on the couch and just relax and rest and get through this fever and all that. And you watch his face. All he's doing is consuming, right? He's watching his
exactly.
show and he's just sitting there and vegging, and you can see it in his eyes, right? And I'm like, but he loves to read. So we'll sit and we'll read to him all day long. And
Mhm.
what's interesting is that so when you're watching a show or you're watching a movie, it's telling you the story, it's visualizing it for you, it's giving you the sounds, it's giving you everything. But if you sit down and you read a book, you're only getting the words, maybe some pictures, but your
Yes,
brain is having to fill in the blanks. Your brain is having to
exactly.
fill in the audio, what's happening, the video. You're having to imagine the inflection, the vocal inflection of the characters. Your brain is working as you're reading, and I think that that's something that as our society is becoming more focused on the technology instead of the physical tangible things like books and reading and playing and getting outside and being creative, we're losing that aspect of our humanity of having an imagination and having creativity and using your brain. And that's the problem with television, it's the problem with movies, it's the problem with AI. Is that technology is basically feeding all of your senses to where you don't have to use your brain anymore. I mean, I
Yes,
even I even realized this the other day when I'm out driving around out here in Southern California, and all I do is I just follow the map. I remember when I was younger, I knew my way around my city. I could go anywhere and everywhere, but now I just follow the map. I don't even think. It just says turn right, I turn right. That's what I do. And I'm like, what am I doing to my brain? when you think about that, because now my brain isn't having to work through, okay, up here I need to turn right and then left. Oh, here's a shortcut that I could take over here. No, my brain's no longer working. I'm just vegging. I'm just following. And that's a
Exactly.
danger that we have with AI for sure.
That's it. The AI is leading and the humans are following.
Yeah.
So that's that's not something what we want.
Right.
And so coming back to pickaxe, so when is it that you're launching it, and what is the timeline when the public can have access to it?
Yeah, so you guys can actually go over and hop on there now. You can set up an account, participate, all that kind of stuff. So technically, we're in the beta launch because we've been just working through everything, testing as we grow, testing all of our
Mhm.
features and our capability and our infrastructure and all of that. But we're in the process of transitioning over to what we're calling our pre-launch phase. We're going to be onboarding a lot of content creators. We're in talks with a lot of big names, influential people that are going to be coming over and joining the platform. And everybody's really
Mhm.
excited just because they feel like, okay, here's somewhere where I can actually just be myself. I don't have to worry about playing the algorithm game and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yes.
So we're also developing a couple of new features that we're going to be rolling out in kind of give your audience a little bit of a teaser, but to where content creators will have access to an email newsletter component to where you'll have direct access to your audience to where you can send them email newsletters and all of that. But then also on top of that, we're in the process of developing an apps right now. We're just web based only, but you'll be able to
Mhm.
have access to an app on your iPhone or on Android. And there were some extra features and some extra things that we had and extra hoops that we had to jump through in order to be a free speech platform on Apple and Android because they have a lot of content moderation rules. And that was something that we had to work through a lot because their rules almost require their apps to moderate content. So we're like, how can we hold true to being a free speech platform where we allow everybody to state their opinions, even if it's unpopular?
Right.
How do we balance that, but then also get on these apps? So I think we found the good balance there, and so we'll be rolling that out in a couple months. Once the app comes, we'll be officially launched. But you guys can hop on now. We got some amazing creators already on there, and we're just going to keep building, keep growing from that standpoint.
That's great. That's great. That's being so close to your the launch, and congratulations for that, and all the best for everything. And yes, we would, at least I would definitely want to check it out, and
Yeah,
I would suggest you guys to also check it out. And so let's meet on the next then. Thank
yeah,
you.
that sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.